Vietnam Weekly News Highlights. Vietnam attracts nearly $5 billion of FDI in 2 months. More than 90% of Vietnamese are looking to buy a house. Export-import turnover up 13% in first 2 months. Sun Group launches first luxury airline in Vietnam. $306 million Sapa Airport project kicked off. More super-rich people in Vietnam. Government to fund half of investment in 5 major traffic projects. Retail real estate finds its way back. Foreign investors have poured nearly $5 billion in Vietnam so far this year, equivalent to 91.5% of that in the same time last year, reported the Foreign Investment Agency under the Ministry of Planning and Investment. FDI was poured in 17 out of the 21 economic sectors, with the highest amount on processing manufacturing sector at $3.13 billion. It was followed by real estate with nearly $1.52 billion, and science technology and power production and distribution with $109.6 million and $60 million, respectively. 51 countries and territories have invested in Vietnam, led by Singapore with over $1.7 billion, accounting for 34.2% of the total FDI that Vietnam attracted in 2 months, and representing a rise of 59.3% year-on-year. China ranked second with $538 million. A recent report by batdongsan.com.vn shows that Vietnam has the highest percentage of people planning to buy a house in Southeast Asia. Up to 92% of more than 1,000 respondents said they plan to buy a house, and over half of them wanted to buy a house within the next 2 years, mainly those aged 40 and over. This is the highest rate in Southeast Asia, compared to 70% in other markets such as Thailand, Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore. The difference is that Vietnamese people mainly buy real estate for living and for their children, while Thais buy for retirement, and people in other countries often buy for investment. Vietnam's export-import turnover hit an estimated over $108.5 billion in the first 2 months of this year, up 13% compared to the same period last year, the General Statistics Office reported on Monday. The export revenue posted an increase of 10.2% to $53.79 billion. In January and February, 9 export commodities recorded a turnover of at least $1 billion, accounting for 71.6% of the total export value. The U.S. remained the biggest importer of Vietnamese commodities in the last 2 months, with an estimated $18.3 billion. Meanwhile, the country's import turnover was up 15.9% during this period, with 13 types of goods valued at over $1 billion. Vietnam mainly imported goods from China, the Republic of Korea, ROC, and ASEAN countries. As a result, the country experienced a trade deficit of $937 million in the period. Real estate and entertainment firm Sun Group has launched Sun Air, the first luxury airline in Vietnam, providing private jet management and air charter services, and sightseeing flights using helicopters and seaplanes. Sun Air targets high-class customers requiring high-standard services. It aims to become a global private jet airline using aircraft with the highest speeds in the world. In the third quarter of 2022, Sun Air will operate 2 Gulfstream G650ER jets. In the 2023 to 2025 period, the airline plans to use 4 Gulfstream G650ER, 1 Gulfstream G700, 1 helicopter and 2 seaplanes. The ground was broken for the construction of the VND $6.9 trillion, $306 million Sapa Airport in Vietnam's northwest mountainous province of Lao Cai on March 3. The project, carried out under the Public-Private Partnership (PPP) financing mechanism, covers a 371-hectare site in Bao Yen district, less than 2 hours from the tourist town Sapa. The Sapa Airport project is set to be executed in phases, the first of which began in 2021 with the construction of a 4-seat category airport, capable of accommodating narrow-body jets, according to the classification of the International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO. The airport is expected to have a handling capacity of 1.5 million passengers per year. The second phase will start in 2028 to finalize other facilities and raise the airport's capacity to 3 million passengers per year. With the dynamic development of the economy, Vietnam now has more millionaires and super-rich people. Knight Frank's latest property report estimates that Vietnam's millionaire growth rate in the 2020 to 2025 period will be 32%, while the growth rate of super-rich people with total assets over $30 million will be 31%. According to the report, there are about 19,500 millionaires in Vietnam, those with assets of at least $1 million. By 2025, that number is expected to increase by nearly 25% to 25,000. With this number of millionaires, Vietnam ranks 4th in Southeast Asia in terms of millionaires, after Singapore, Indonesia, and Thailand. The government will fund half of the total investment in 5 key national traffic infrastructure projects with a total length of over 500 kilometers. On March 1st, Prime Minister Pham Minh Chinh presided over a meeting between the government and localities on the pre-feasibility studies for the 5 projects. The 5 projects, Ring Road No. 4 in the capital region, Ring Road No. 3 in the south, and the Chadak Kantho Soptrang, Con Hoa Buon Mathuat and Bien Hoa Vung Tau expressways, will be executed until 2026. Prime Minister Chin said these projects were not included in the North-South Expressway project. They were important traffic routes and would pass through many localities. Localities must allocate half of the investment in these projects, which can be sourced from the Mid-Term Public Investment Plan, the Capital for Socio-Economic Recovery and Development and other capital resources. The capital allocation must be flexible, in line with the progress of the projects and enough for the execution of the projects in the 2021 to 2026 period. The retail real estate market is displaying signs of optimism after quarantine restrictions were eased. In the central area of the Ho Chi Minh City, the average retail space is $115 per square meter per month, while the average vacancy rate is about 5%. Meanwhile, in areas outside of the city center, the average rent is $24.50 per meter, with vacancies at about 14%. Signs of recovery were echoed as Ho Chi Minh City welcomed its 10th Uniqlo shop in Eon Hoa Bangtan. Retail space for rent in Hanoi remains at more than $43 per square meter on average. Rent in the city center is recorded from $98, while the average vacancy rate is 11%. Further out, rents start at $21 per month, with 18% vacant. According to CBRE Vietnam, the Hanoi market has witnessed the entry of a number of new fashion and cosmetics brands, as well as the expansion of renowned domestic and foreign businesses, such as Dyson, Sandro, and Mage. In order to adapt to the new normal, long-term tenants have restructured their business models. Many large food and beverage stores have been converted into mobile kiosks to better serve their customers' needs. The number of permanent rental spaces in supermarkets and convenience stores has been reduced, while the number of temporary booths has been expanded to enhance the buyer-seller experience. Hanoi Weekly News Highlights. Hanoi studies city-within-city model. The project has 8 parks, nearly 1,000 gardens in the air. Capital law revision to address Hanoi's most pressing needs. Hanoi's orientation to adjust the general plan will include limiting the urban population, reducing the population of 4 urban districts. At the same time, study the model of city within a city in this regions. To the north there are Dong An, Melon and Sok San districts, To the west is the new city of Ho Lac. The city will also study the orientation of urban development on both sides of the Ring 4 road in order to effectively exploit land use and land value after investing in the construction of the road, creating resources and development motivation for localities becoming districts with short-term and as long-term plan. Notably, the city will also study the orientation of the second airport for the Hanoi capital region in the southern area of Hanoi City. Sky Forest project belongs to Ecopark urban area, inspired by Babylon Hanging Garden. According to the design, the project consists of 3 towers covered by 8 parks with a total scale of nearly 10,000 square meters, and 1,000 gardens interweaving the entire construction from the top to the bottom. The project is located next to the 50-hectare island bay, owning 8 parks of various sizes, in which 3 parks with an area of nearly 3,000 square meters are arranged on the 3rd, 13th, and 22nd floor, located in the heart of the building. 5 other parks with a size of 7,000 square meters are located on 3rd, 22th, 31th, and 39th floor. In particular, there are 1,000 gardens with an area of from 10 to 30 square meters arranged alternately with each apartment. The upcoming amended capital law is set to provide Hanoi with a favorable legal environment that steers the city's development in years to come. The amendment of the capital law should take into consideration Hanoi's most pressing needs to ensure its leading role as the growth driver for the Hanoi metropolitan areas and of the country overall. Ho Chi Minh Weekly News Highlights. Property prices skyrocket in eastern Ho Chi Minh City after record bids for Thu Thiem land. Saigon applies final touch to major bridge after 4-year delay. Million-dollar ventures back in the mix. Infrastructure boosts Ho Chi Minh City property market. 2,000 families to be relocated in Dong Nai for expressway. Mekong Delta to have 800 kilometers of expressways by 2030. Property prices in Thu Duc City, a new urban area in eastern Ho Chi Minh City, have been soaring, driven by record bids recently for land plots in the Thu Thiem Peninsula. The Global City, an under-construction premium apartment project in the former District 2, now Thu Duc City, has estimated prices of 350 to 400 million dongs, 15,330 to 17,520 USD per square meter. The price tag is 15 to 20% higher than in the same segment in other areas, the result of a surge in prices driven by the historical bids for land plots in neighboring New Thu Thiem urban area. The bids have had a ripple effect on other areas in Thu Duc City. In the former District 9, a riverfront villa project sells 350 to 1,000 square meter units at starting prices of 300 billion dongs, the highest ever in the district. Townhouse and riverfront villa prices in the former Thu Duc district are also at an unprecedented 350 million dongs per square meter in March. A real estate agent said prices have increased by 25% from a year ago and 10% from the last quarter. Thu Duc City was formed in 2020 by merging the 3 eastern districts of 2, 9, and Thu Duc. Thu Thiem 2 bridge spanning the Saigon River to link downtown District 1 and Thu Duc City is expected to open to traffic in April. With work started in 2015, Thu Thiem 2 bridge that costs nearly 3.1 trillion dongs, $134.9 million, was originally scheduled for completion in 2018, but issues related to funding and site clearance had caused construction progress to drag on for 4 more years. Both sides of the bridge were joined last September. By then, it had been more than 85% completed. The bridge connecting District 1 with Thu Thiem new urban area, home to a large expat community, in Thu Duc City, spans 1.4 kilometers and comprises 6 lanes. The cablestay bridge has its highest pier rising 113 meters. New financial sources and mergers in real estate are helping to revive a series of projects that have been suspended for many years. After spending 13 years as an unfinished 23-story concrete block, last week, the Kenton Node luxury apartment in Ho Chi Minh City was given new life by Novaland. Located in Nha district and previously funded by Thai Nguyen Trade Manufacturing and Construction, the complex will be renamed Grand Sentosa, according to a Novaland representative, after it was acquired from negotiation with the former investor. Novaland is committed to developing and putting Grand Sentosa into operation on schedule by 2024. Meanwhile, located on Golden Land at the intersection of Ton Duc Tang and Ham Gi in District 1, the Saigon 1 Tower project has been frozen for over a decade, even though it sits 80% completed. Now Viva Land, a newly established real estate investor, has jumped in to revive the venture. This building was renamed to IFC 1, Saigon. This project was previously funded by Saigon MC Real Estate JSC with a total initial investment capital of $256 million. Construction started in 2007 and was expected to be completed after 2 years. Meanwhile, the billion-dollar Saigon Binan project located in Thursday Duc City was resumed after Masterize Homes took over as developer. The project is being renamed the Global City. The initial plan was approved 20 years ago over 117 hectares and was being funded by Saigon Development and Investment Corporation. According to Ben Gray, Director of Capital Markets at Knight Frank Vietnam, the restarting of these projects sends a positive signal to the market, which can be quantified by looking at the stock market, where real estate group DXG is now trading at plus 5%. The Ho Chi Minh City property market is expected to develop strongly in 2022 on the back of a number of infrastructure projects being completed or started during the period, experts said. Many of the projects are meant to improve connectivity or reduce congestion. They include the An Phu intersection in Thu Duc City, the junction of 3 major roads, the Ho Chi Minh City Long Than Dog Ye Highway, Mai Chitho Boulevard and Luong Di Nakua Street, suffers from constant congestion, which peaks during weekends and other holidays as people travel to Dong Nai and Baria Vung Ta provinces. To cost nearly 4 trillion dongs, $175 million, it will be a 3-level road including 2 tunnels. Another project to be taken up is the widening of National Road 50 in Binh Chanh district. The Mithui intersection will be finished this year, helping reduce traffic jams and accidents around Cat Lai Port and increase cargo transportation capacity. Situated 3 kilometers from An Phu intersection at the junction of Va Chakong, Dong Vangking and Ngenthadan streets, work on it began in 2016 at a cost of 840 billion dongs for Phase 1 and over 1.4 trillion dongs for Phase 2. The first phase includes the Kaiha 3 bridge and an overpass and underpass on Ring Road 2. Other projects in the city include widening of Tanki Tanki Street, upgrades to Tran Van Mamai Street and Thai Tran Thoi Tampan, construction of Rachkan Bridge, and works to prevent landslides near Gyeonggonto Bridge. Tran Quang Lam, director of the HCM City Department of Transport, said efforts were on to complete 3 tasks in time. Complete construction of Metro Route No. 1 between Ben Than and Suoi Shan and start its commercial operation, and begin work on Route No. 2. The development of infrastructure in the city is expected to drive property prices up. Dong Nai province authorities plan to relocate more than 2,000 families to acquire 373 hectares, 921 acres, of land for the Bien Hoa Vung Ta expressway. The 53 kilometers, 33 miles, highway will connect the southern industrial provinces of Dong Nai and Baria Vung Ta, which are home to several seaport logistics complexes. It will run 34.2 kilometers in Dong Nai, and the province plans to acquire and clear all the land needed at one time. The expressway will cost around 18 trillion dongs, $788 million, and be completed by 2025 at the latest. In its first phase, it will have 4 to 6 lanes and allow vehicles to travel at 100 kilometers per hour. The project will be built using public funds. It is one of 3 expressways the government plans to build to meet the urgent transportation needs of the Southern Key Economic Region, which includes Ho Chi Minh City and the provinces of Dong Nai, Binh, Barrio Vung Tau, Tay Ninh, and Binh Phuoc. The government has passed a master plan until 2030 to develop the Mekong Delta into a key economic region, including major infrastructure developments. By 2030, the region will have 830 kilometers, 515 miles, of expressways, including new and upgraded routes, and 4,000 kilometers of national highways, according to the Master Plan for Mekong Delta Development in the 2021 to 2030 period approved by Prime Minister Pham Minh Chinh on Friday. According to the plan, the Mekong Delta will become a sustainable, dynamic, and highly efficient agricultural economic center of the country, region, and world. Along with highway construction, the Delta will have 4 airports, 13 seaports, 11 passenger ports, and 13 inland waterway cargo port clusters to boost both regional and international connectivity. The plan aims to make the region an international brand for agricultural rural tourism and ecotourism, with Can City and Phu Quoc Island set to become 2 international tourist centers in the region. The Mekong Delta, which spans over 3.9 million hectares, is Vietnam's rice basket that contributes over 17% of the GDP, 54% of rice, 70% of fishery products, and 60% of fruits in the country. It is also home to around 20 million people. Under the master plan, the average economic growth rate is targeted for the Delta at 6.5% per year until 2030. More wind power and solar power projects will be in the making across the Delta in future.